Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. There is one thing about looking beyond or looking at the bigger picture. Once you develop in looking at the bigger picture, you can never go back at only looking what's in front of you. It's built in you to look at the entirety of things, and that is a good thing. Most people don't want to go there. They just want to remain with their own expectations. They're comfortable being closed off with their own unexamined expectations, seeking validation from others that reflect their unexamined expectations. That is the comfort zone that many are holding on to. And it's an illusion, because that so-called comfort zone isn't even real. It works out for them, but it can fill them anytime, and it can fill them very hard. And most of the time, they don't see it coming. Why not? Because they don't look at the bigger picture. While to you, who's learning to look at things their entirety, I'm telling you, there are going to be updates in your way of thinking. If you have a computer, or let me say you have a smartphone, you have apps on it, those applications need to be updated from time to time, or else you can't use them anymore. If you have, for example, WhatsApp, and you have a 2-year-old version that you cannot get along with other WhatsApp users anymore because they have new features. So your software needs to be updated. You get what I'm saying here? We know this. We all receive updates on our smartphones or our mobile phones or our tablets. We know how it works. Also, our operating systems from time to time needs to update, at least when you have Windows. Well, I'm not sure if Windows is doing that anymore, but okay. We know what updates are in the technological sense. Now I'm talking about updates in the spiritual sense here. I'm not saying the way you look at things or the way you see things is wrong, but you will be updated by the Holy Spirit. Why? Because you learn to walk in obedience. You learn to look at the bigger picture, and because that you develop in noticing things. So now the Holy Spirit can entrust more to you. Now look, there are going to be times when you suddenly reflect back. You're not holding on to the past. It's just that your mind reflects back, and you will think, what did I see in those people? You will have this. I'm not talking about people that did drugs and all of that. If you have such a dark past, okay, that's different. Of course, you don't want those associations anymore. But there are going to be people that you used to think those people are practical. Those people are on the right track. But now that you are updated supernaturally, you look back and you think, what? Because now you notice more. Now you see through more stuff. Okay, let me give an illustration to you. Let's say now that you worked at a job. And at the job, the people at the job, they were all married, they had their families, they were churchgoers. So, according to you, those were serious people, people with good intentions, people that would never do any harm. That's how you thought back then. And you thought, these are the type of people I should be around, because I want my life to improve. Now let's say now you're 5 years further now. One, you realize that you were in idolatry. You depended too much on associating with good people. And the good that you were looking for didn't even exist, because your definition of good was not in line with Christ. So you were an idolater. That's the first thing. And now you have been delivered from that wrong way of thinking. Now you can filter the data you received then in a better way. So now you realize that those people, they were quite self-centered. They were very empathic, but only when it came to their own people. And you realize now that some of them did talk about Christ, but now that you reflect back, you realize that they didn't operate in agreement with Christ at all. And you find out that some of those families, some of those co-workers, that they are involved with narcissistic families. Their families are narcissistic, and there's a lot of cover-up. And back then, there were warning signals, there were red flags that you just couldn't notice, because you didn't see things clearly. Now that you're updated, you reflect back and you think, I don't want these people around me. These people ain't good. They're enabling a lot of bad stuff. they don't want to look at the bigger picture. They don't want to see things in their entirety. They don't want to see reality as it is. Those people will turn on you once they're confronted with facts they don't want to face. And now that you see the danger they carry with them, you think, not them. But back then, 5 years ago, you didn't have this discernment. You were born again. You were a believer. You did have the Holy Spirit. You did walk by faith. But you still had to outgrow worldly ways of thinking and worldly ways of relating to other people. So I'm telling you, when you suddenly reflect back and you become frightened, or you are, let me say, you're confounded, fear not. That's supposed to happen when you walk by faith. That's supposed to happen when you operate in agreement with Christ. Some people are pessimistic and cynical. They only see the bad things. That's a trap, and it's a very unhealthy and dangerous trap. Others only see the lovely sides. That's also another trap. What is important is that you look at the bigger picture. You know, it's both the good and the bad in perspective. Not the good and the bad in line with your own expectations that are not examined, but that you look at the big picture and you see the good and the bad in line with Christ. You look at things in their entirety. You get what I'm saying here? Because too often we look at things only at how they relate to us. You need to unlearn that. Yes, you are there, you are important, you are relevant, but you need to look at things in their entirety and keep Christ at the center. Because once Christ is not at the center, you are in darkness. This has nothing to do with age. There are people becoming 30, 40, 50, even 70 or 80, and they still have no discernment and no understanding at all. They have the same mindset as when they were 19 or 21, only looking at short-term relief. Yes, you have such people. You have kids, grandkids, but there's no understanding, no wisdom at all. So don't let age fool you. It's about agreeing with Christ and growing in supernatural perspective. That's what I'm telling you. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.